sisters do. Is everyone here? 1, 2, 3.
Yes, 5. That's it.
Do you think I can get there and back in 10 seconds?
No,
It's your meeting, Mayor. Take your time.
that's true.
Oh no, don't do that.
Too much farming here.
Good evening, everyone. It's 7 p.m. I'd like to call to order our Town Trophy Club Town Council meeting for September 13th. We do have a quorum present with all 5 remaining council members here this evening. I would like to invite Pastor Jeff Brooks of Lake City's Church of Christ for invocation, please.
Let's bow together. Father God, we thank you for today, for blessing us with 24 hours that wasn't promised to us. Lord, I'm thankful for women and men who serve the public, and all of them make some sacrifice. Most of them just give their time, their energy, their hearts to public service. But we're reminded during this time of the year that there are some who made the ultimate sacrifice, who gave all. And so, Father, we're thankful for men and women who would lay down their lives, as it says in your word, for their fellow man. There's no greater sacrifice than that. We honor them. We thank you that there are such people among us that inspire us to be greater. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Now, Councilman Sheridan will lead us in the pledges.
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas flag, please.
Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Our business spotlight this evening is Quench Juice Bar and Drink Coffee and Tea. I'd like to welcome Mr. Matthew Glave to the, did I say your last name right? Is it Glave? To the podium, please.
Hello, my name is Matthew Glave. I am the store manager at Drink Quench and Trophy Club. So our store opened back in December of 2020. So we're pretty new to the area. We're a pretty new concept to juice bar, coffee. So all of our coffees are all organic, sourced out of California. Our smoothies are all whole food. We don't use any type of artificial anything in our smoothies. The only thing that we add into our stuff is superfoods like pumpkin seeds, almonds, hemp seeds, all those fun little things. Our coffees are amazing. I don't know if y'all have tried your coffees that I've given y'all today.
Very good.
That one is our Familia Chacon blend. When I was driving over here, it was filling my car up, and I just was wanting a cup the entire time. So our store's open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. Let's see. Can't really think of much.
And you're located in the Trophy Club Town Center.
Yes, ma'am. So we are right off of Trophy Club Drive, right between David Ryan's Hair Salon and Anna Mia's, right by the clock tower.
And you don't just have coffee, you have, like you said, your teas and
We
your
have
smoothies.
a large variety of different things. So we have smoothies, acai bowls, we have raw juices, yogurt bowls. And that's just for our juice side. For our drink side, we have coffees, teas, lattes, Americanos. We have panini sandwiches. We've got breakfast sandwiches, breakfast wraps. There's just a very large amount of things that we offer that it's all made while you're there. It's not frozen, shipped in, and then warmed up. It's all put together right there in-house.
Very good.
So.
Well, I know Ms. Basic is a big fan of your acai bowls. And I have been by and had a cappuccino and seen all your beautiful display of your treats and sandwiches and all the goodies. And you're right, everything's very fresh and very healthy. So holiday season's coming up. You may want
Yes,
to
ma'am.
start now.
We're actually
Start being
getting ready
healthy.
to release a new, two new drinks. One is a coffee, the other one's a smoothie. We're moving into doing keto. So
Oh,
we're
very
having
good.
keto
Okay.
coffee and a keto blend. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Coconut cream,
Oh, I love
coconut
coconut
oil,
cream.
cauliflower, bunch of really good stuff.
So no excuses. They're even meeting some of your dietary needs. So make sure you go by Quince Juice Bar near I think you're by Animia's, that side.
Yes, ma'am.
On
So
that
we're
corner.
across from the Meet You Anywhere barbecue, right in front of the clock tower between the David Ryan Salon and the Animia's Tex-Mex.
Okay, and 8 to 8, Sunday through Sunday. So make sure everyone stops by and support our local businesses. And you're right, this coffee is delicious. And it was much needed this evening, so
Of course.
you read my mind. Thank you so much for being here
Thank
this
you so much.
evening. Okay, item number 2, our life-saving awards presentation. I'd like to call on our Fire Chief Jay Taylor to the podium, please, for a summary.
Madam Mayor, Council, thank you for having us this evening. On August 15th of this year, we responded to several emergencies in a very short period of time. As you know, our squad that we implemented last year in October was put in place to help us respond to EMS calls, keep our fire truck back at the fire station to hit those secondary calls so that we can provide the service in a timely manner that we hope to do that. We also have our automatic aid with our surrounding neighbors, especially Roanoke and Westlake, that tie us on each side. Through that teamwork that we have allows us to serve our residents in a timely manner and get that care to them. On this particular evening, on August 15th, we had a medical emergency that came in, and our squad and ambulance 681 responded to that initial call. They were there a very short period of time, and then a secondary stroke victim call at another location came in very shortly after that. So truck 681 in the house is there in a very quick time frame. They get there to provide immediate care because all of our personnel are paramedics. So they're providing that top-notch care while the Roanoke ambulance is coming to that second run. Within just a couple of minutes of the second run, a third run came in, and it was a CPR call. It was an unconscious person. And that's what we're here for tonight. But with that situation, I'm at home and I hear that come in, and I know we're out of folks at that point. So I come from the far east side where I am around to the other. This third call was very close, just a couple of blocks from the second call that truck 681 was on. The second call ended up not being a severe call, and the ambulance that was there on scene could handle that. Our truck cleared. They got there very quickly, and at the same time, the Westlake ambulance was dispatched to that third run. We all got there in culmination. It was a CPR. It was a very harrowing event like they can be. You don't know how they're going to turn out. But fortunately, with a lot of great work and God looking over from above, this patient made it to the hospital in a timely manner. Proper care was provided to them pre-hospital, then at the hospital at Baylor Grapevine, and that patient was discharged about a week and a half ago. And so we're very grateful that this was a true CPR save. There are a lot of times in EMS that we bring someone back, we regain a pulse, we get them to the hospital with a renewed pulse. And what that does is sometimes it does nothing more but give that family a little bit of time to have closure and get there and see that family member before they ultimately succumb to their injuries. However, sometimes, even out of our control, beyond our control, that patient walks out of the hospital. And that's what happened in this one. So it's a true CPR save that will be documented in the CPR annals that they keep track of. We wanted to pay special recognition to the individuals that were on this run, that emergency run that night, but also show how all the teamwork played together. You know, the squad concept worked great. And usually when we have one emergency run, they tend to come in twos or threes. So this is not outside the realm of what we normally see. Just happened to be that the third one that night was the most severe one. But because the way everything is in place and the way we were able to respond, we got there in a timely manner, and it all worked just as we had hoped it would. And they did an outstanding job. Our truck crew that was there provided great care. We have the Westlake ambulance that that was there that night as well. We're going to be providing life-saving awards to them for doing that care and getting that patient back and discharged from the hospital. So it's a credit to not only all of you, but to the community as well, to be so supportive of public safety, fire and police, because we work so closely with each other. Today's event that we have with our search and rescue is another example of that, the recent community survey that we had, puts us at the top usually on the surveys, but it also shows that the community is always willing to put forth the funds to have top-notch police and fire, to have the equipment, the training, and the personnel to provide those exceptional services to our folks in town. And we're very appreciative of that. But this is just a reflection of that. So I want to thank you as well as our community for allowing us the ability to have the equipment to do what we do day in and day out. At this time, Mayor, I'd like to ask you to come down with me if you would, and we'll hand these awards out to these gentlemen. As I said, Truck 681 was first on scene. They'd come from a couple blocks away. And I'm going to ask you, gentlemen, I'm going to name you one by one. Come on up. We'll give you your award, but please stay up here. We'll take a group shot when we're done. And I also want to mention from Westlake, I have Assistant Chief John Ard here as well to represent them. So I appreciate Chief Ard being here. He's a great reflection of their department and one reason they operate at such a high level. First of all is Captain Donnie Hurd. Give you that. Donnie's our B shift captain, and he was the captain obviously on duty that night on the truck and made that decision, quick acting decision to know that the second call was not a severe call. The ambulance on scene could handle that, and he was able to break free and get to this next run and start that immediate care on this patient. So I appreciate your quick response as always. You do a great job for us.
Thank you, sir.
And we appreciate you very much. Don't run off. The firefighter Steve Rusk. Firefighter Rusk was driving the truck that night, so he was actually the engineer on that, and as always does a great job, rides on the ambulance a lot for us, provides exceptional care. We appreciate you. You did nothing more than you normally do, so you guys are exceptional every day, but it's just another reflection of it. Firefighter Rafi Kaftagian. Said that pretty good, didn't I? Thanks, Rafi. Thank you, Mayor. Rafi's one of our, we supplement our full-time firefighters with a part-time staff that we have. Rafi's a full-time Crum firefighter, but he also works a lot with us as a part-time firefighter. And as you know, when they're here, they're in the Trophy Club culture. You don't know any different. They're in the same uniform we are, and they operate under our guidelines, fire and EMS, and he does an exceptional job for us, and that night was no different. Rafi was actually driving the squad that night, so he made quick response from the initial run to get there when the truck did, so we played all that together. So thank you very, very much for what you do, and we're lucky to have you. Next is firefighter Jeremy Arrington from the Westlake Fire Department. As you know, Westlake does a lot of responses with us because we have automatic aid. Again, that night was another reflection of that. They did an outstanding job. They're the ones that transported the patient to the hospital, and we really appreciate what you do for us. So, good job. Thank you. Firefighter Livingston's still gone on an emergency run. Firefighter Livingston, they just got dispatched about 15 minutes ago, so they're not back yet. So I'm going to save this for firefighter Travis Livingston, Westlake Fire Department. He was also on that ambulance that night, and they did an outstanding job. But I just want to thank all of you for what you did that night. It's a reflection of what we do day in, day out. All our shifts are the same way. We have those saves. We provide exceptional services. But when the bell rings, we respond and do the best we can. So we appreciate you guys very much. Thank you.
Just a second, because we, of course, want to recognize our Chief Taylor, because you're actually first on the scene and ran it until everyone else was able to get there. So we thank you for your quick response and for being there and all you do for our community as well and for your leadership. So we'd like to present you with also this life-saving award as well.
I was just supervising. They did all the work. Thank you. Appreciate it. Chief Ard, you want to get in a picture with me? Come on.
Yes, you have to get a picture.
I wore this tie for you. Come
Yes.
on.
He got all
That's an
dressed
inside
up.
joke. Where it gets over here. We'll take a picture.
Where should I be?
Thank you all for serving us.
Well, I think everyone knows how grateful and how proud of we are of our first responders and our ISO 1 rating and our collaboration and partnership with our surrounding communities. So we definitely want to thank Westlake as well for being there with us on scene that evening, and thank you all for being here tonight. Okay, item number 3, American Heart Association Mission Lifeline Gold Plus Award to our Trophy Club Fire Department EMS. And this evening we do have Dr. Robert Hancock with us, Trophy Club's very own, and his lovely wife, Heather. Dr. Hancock is Assistant Clinical Professor of Emergency Medicine at Oklahoma State University School of Medicine, EMS Medical Director for Euless, Keller, Westlake, and Roanoke Fire Departments, and Best EMS Medical Control Group. He's done a lot of work with us in the past and continues to do so now. We certainly appreciate all the efforts he does for not just us, but so many surrounding communities and states, actually. So thank you very much for being here this evening.
Thank you to the council for allowing me to be here. I'm here on behalf of Dr. Justin Northeim, who is the primary medical director for Trophy Club Fire Department. I serve as backup medical director through our organization, which is Best EMS. We currently have quite a few departments. I can't even tell you the number now because it seems to change so fast throughout DFW, but in this area, pretty much everywhere except Southlake, including the airport, is under our medical control, which is great because we got different medical directors, but we all work together in the end. So we all collaborate on everything. And that's shown through this. You know, I had Westlake, which is one of my agencies, working with Trophy Club hand in hand, and, you know, had just, sounds like a seamless call that went really well. So it just shows how well this collaboration works. So, again, Dr. Northeim said he couldn't be here. He's actually at Baylor Grapevine taking care of patients right now. So. And what I'm here to talk about is the accomplishment of Trophy Club's Fire Department in accomplishing the American Heart Association Mission Lifeline Gold Plus Award. This is the highest level award under Mission Lifeline. I believe this is the second year in a row they've attained this. And so really, I'm pretty proud of any agency that gets silver. So to be at Gold Plus is remarkable. So a little bit about Mission Lifeline. Basically what it is, American Heart Association measures metrics related to treatment of chest pain, cardiac arrest, heart attacks, and strokes. And these numbers are measured and has a lot to do with how quickly we're getting things like EKGs at the scene, how quickly they're being transported, how quickly we're recognizing the need for, say, the cath lab to be activated, that sort of thing. This is all extremely important. And to get the numbers attained by this department is exceptional. And this is absolutely, I would love for us to be able to claim credit for it. This is all them. This is all training and a lot of training. And these guys work day in, day out, whether it's doing simulations, other things, just reading, just to improve their quality of care. And it's really remarkable. This CPR save, this is an exact reflection of them deserving this award. just to give you an idea, and I'll try to keep this a little bit brief and simple, but there was a big study done years ago actually looking at response times in EMS. And the goal was to prove response times are all that mattered. What they found is it actually was the quality of care when they got there. There was some correlation, but it wasn't what they expected. They repeated the study 3 times. And they found that the better trained departments that had more aggressive protocols and provided a higher level of care had a far higher save percentage on CPRs. And just to give you an idea, all we care about in medicine, or I care about, is survival to discharge with neurologic function. In other words, you can walk out of the hospital, know who you are, and you can function. The rest of them, it really, the stats don't matter to me. That's all that really matters. So when you look at across the nation, everybody tracks this. Currently, really all of our agencies in this area, and particularly Trophy Club, we're well over double the national average on survival to discharge with neurologic function. And in comparison to some major cities, we're way above that, 3 and 4 times higher. So that's what really matters. And all the work, all the training that these guys put in, one of these is worth it. And there have been many. I've reviewed, I don't know how many cases have come out of here, Westlake, surrounding areas of just great care that somebody walked out of the hospital, you know, with quality of life just because of the quality of care provided. So just to give you a little bit of background of how big a deal this is extremely important. We're very proud of it as Best EMS to have this. And like I said, this is all on the leadership and the guys doing the work. So I'd like for Shane Beck to come up. Yeah. And so this is the first year they did it, they got silver. They went to Gold Plus last year, and they'll have another spot on here for Gold Plus this year. So congratulations.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate you.
Greg Lamont, one more.
Cool.
Thank you.
I'll accept this, but I do have to say, it really is an award that's a reflection of council's philosophy, leadership at the department, our working relationship with Best EMS, with our medical directors, keeping our practice, our protocols evidence-based, our relationship with the hospital. Early notification is important, and the standard of care that they have at Baylor Grapevine. So it's really a teamwork effort. This hangs on the wall, and you know, the award that we saw earlier is a true reflection of the standards that we hold and that y'all help us to uphold. So thank you very much.
And thank you for your 25 years of service that we celebrated earlier this afternoon. I hope you liked your 2 cakes you got. That was my favorite too, German chocolate. Thank you very much. And thank you, Dr. Hancock. We really appreciate all that information, and that's great information to know. And I guess after our police department got all their awards at the last meeting, the fire department did not take my challenge lightly. Came back right at them. So thank you all for being here to recognize our fire department and also Westlake. It certainly is important, and couldn't be more proud. Number 4, update on Pet Fest. Mr. Carroll.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just want to make a quick announcement tonight that the 13th Annual Pet Fest in Trophy Club is going to be occurring this next month, October the 2nd, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the dog park. They're going to have all different kinds of activities. They'll have vendors out. They'll have face painting for the kids. Lots of things going on for your pet and your children out there. So we're really excited to have this.
Sometimes.
You want to say?
It's kind of the same sometimes, your pet and your kids.
That's true. That's true. But we're very excited to have Pet Fest again this year. It's always a great big hit, and we generally have between 300 and 500 citizens that show up to this. So it's a big event for us in Trophy Club, and we're very excited to have it again on October 2nd. So if you want any more information about it, you can go to trophyclub.org under the Parks Department, and you can get more information.
Awesome. It really is a fun event. Pets, kids, adults, everyone. Lots of booths and information and fun stuff to do for the kids, fun stuff to do for your pets. I know a lot of our nonprofits are always out there, like our Rotary Club and Women's Club and Four Paws, One Heart with Susan Edstrom. So it's a great community event, lots of fun. So I hope you all can join us there on October 2nd from 9 to 11. We are now on to our proclamation, 2021-23, proclaiming Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Whereas the past year has presented our communities with challenges and led to transitions that were expected or unexpected, unsettling and stressful, and whereas Americans attempt suicide an estimated 1.4 million times annually, and 130 Americans die by suicide each day, with over 20 being our country's veterans, equating to 47,000 deaths by suicide a year. And whereas more than 1.6 million years of life are lost to suicide, and the combined medical and work loss costs in the United States cost $70 billion per year. And whereas suicide is the 11th leading cause of death in the United States, the second leading cause of death for ages 15 through 34, and the fifth leading cause of death for ages 45 to 54, while veterans comprise over 14% of suicides. And whereas more teenagers and young adults die from suicide than from cancer, heart disease, AIDS, birth defects, stroke, pneumonia, influenza, and chronic lung diseases combined. And whereas in the United States, 90% of those who died by suicide had a diagnosable psychiatric disorder at the time of their death. And whereas organizations such as American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, National Institutes of Mental Health, Veterans in Crisis, Suicide and Crisis Center of North Texas, and Gallant Few provide research, resources, and support in order to spread awareness and prevent suicide. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Alicia L. Fleury, in conjunction with the Trophy Club Town Council, do hereby proclaim September 2021 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. I would like to make a motion to approve the proclamation as read.
Second. He beat me.
Split second.
Well, you know, he's Mayor Pro Tem now after last meeting. So I have a motion on the floor by myself and a second by
I'll have mine later.
Councilman Monger. All in favor? Any opposed? It's unanimous. Motion carries. And I would like to ask Councilman Monger to go with me to the podium to accept this award for his work that he does day in and day out for his fellow veterans for Gallant Few. I hate to smile at times like these, but I'm smiling because we so appreciate all the work you've done and your continuing education so you can do even more work to help your fellow veterans, and just thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
If you'd like to say
The only thing that I want to add is so many things get piled up on us in the course of our lives. Just my day today has been scheduled to the minute from about 6:30 this morning, and it's hard to stay in the moment. And when you get out of the moment and you start letting the other trash come in, that's when things can pile up and can cause mental distress that ultimately can lead to thoughts of suicide. And a lot of times that comes from shame, fear, guilt, regret. When you're in the moment and you're at something like this and you get to see the fire department recognized and the life-saving and all of the things that go on here, it brings you back into focus, and it gives you the ability to say, you know, life is good. So the overwhelming part sometimes can get to all of us. So thank you for the proclamation. Thank you for recognizing the work that we do, and thank you for everyone that gets involved in that.
thank you. At this time, we're going to move item 8 up and take appropriate action on resolution 2021-10. Do you have a motion?
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2021-10, approving the tax roll of the Denton Central Appraisal District and Tarrant County Appraisal Districts for 2021.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Lamont and a second by Councilman Sheridan. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous, motion carries.
Do 9.
9.
Go to 9, then go back to 7.
Okay, we will go to, no, we'll do the hearing first. So we're gonna stick with 6? Yeah.
Oh, go back. Okay.
You are really,
Just trying to get rid of the other stuff. Might be here all night.
okay, number 6, conduct a public hearing regarding the proposed tax rate for fiscal year October 1, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Mr. Irwin.
Yes, ma'am, this will be the public hearing. The proposed rate and advertised rate was a .446442, as it's been the last couple of years, and I'll step aside.
Okay, public hearing is open at 7:30 PM. Do we have anyone wishing to speak this evening on this item? Okay, 7:30 and 11 seconds. Oh, wait, that's next, right? Okay, y'all need to wait. And the public hearing is now closed. Item 7, take appropriate action approving ordinance 2021-18, fixing and levying municipal ad valorem taxes for the town of Trophy Club's fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2021, and ending September 30th, 2022. Mr. Carroll?
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. The item before you is to set and approve the tax rate. We're closing in on the end of budget seasons. We've got a couple of meetings left. This is some of the necessary steps to make this occur. In the last meeting, you approved the budget, which is the spending of the funds, and in this meeting, we're approving the tax rate, which is the revenue side of the funds for the majority of the revenue sides of the funds for Trophy Club. So we've worked hard with staff and the budget subcommittee and developed a budget that's good for the town, we believe, and then also we are following the direction that we receive from our citizens and leaving the tax rate the same and making sure that that we're leaving the services that are provided to our citizens the same as well. With that, we'll open it up for any questions that you might have or any discussion.
Mayor Pro Tem Lamont?
We're on 7, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.4450 of $100 of evaluation, which is effectively a 1.61% increase in the tax rate. Just for the record, the tax and percentage rates are not being increased. State law requires that nomenclature be used, which is the confusion to us all. Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Lamont and a second by Councilman Schaffner. Any discussion? Mr. Sheridan?
Mayor, I'm going to say that I don't favor this. Tonight's presentation and explanations of our incidences at the fire department and all our first responders get to, police too, means that we need to be ready to support them in this, so we keep the same level of service we have now, which keeping that same service level is also in response with the survey that was recently taken by the town. So I do not support lowering it. I support keeping it where it's at. Thank you.
So from what I understand, this amount would decrease this year's budgeted revenues by $28,546.21 as given to me by Mr. Carroll. So that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's the cost of maybe a Parks and Rec or streets truck, while allowing the average home and trophy club of $500,000 to be saving $7.21 a year. So it may not sound like a lot now, but in 10 years, that same homeowner would save $72.10, but the town would lose $285,000, $462.06. So I, along with Councilman Sheridan, have to question that that motion in that format, because our survey overwhelmingly showed that our residents enjoy the services that we have now, and they don't want those to decrease. And as we know, if we start decreasing taxes every year, that service level is going to be very hard to maintain. I'm happy that we're not increasing the tax rate, but I think that it may be a little short-sighted and get us behind the power curve if we keep decreasing it every year. And as I've always said, I would like to make decisions based on what's best for the town and the residents, not what's best for what looks best for council to do, not what looks best for the next election or anything like that. And I just think that the $7.21 per year is not worth a decrease in services. Anyone else wishing to discuss? Okay, we'll call for the vote. All in favor of the motion to decrease? Okay. All opposed? 3-2. So with a 5-member, do we need a 4-1 or?
We need 4.
Okay, so the motion fails. So do we have a new motion for the
Mayor?
initial tax rate?
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 2021-18, fixing and levying municipal ad valorem taxes for the town of Trophy Club fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2021, ending September 30th, 2022 at 0.446442, directing the assessment thereof and providing an effective date.
I'll second. Any more discussion?
Just point of clarification, Mike, is that the way it has to be phrased in a motion?
That's a good motion. The state does require the comment that you just made, that this would be an increase of, I think it's 1.8% at the new tax rate.
So you have to mention that?
Yes, sir, yeah, you have to.
Yeah, the way I stated it.
What you read, whatever tax rate that the council decides.
All right, well, I'm reading right off the ordinance, and
Yes,
this,
sir.
this town's been known to vote for something and then the ordinance says something different. I want to make sure it says just exactly what this says.
Yes,
Is there
sir.
anything I need to add to the motion to make it legal?
The only thing that I would ask for you to add is the words that Mr. Lamont spoke. And
I don't remember what he said. What did he say?
I think the mayor
What?
has.
What do I need to ask?
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of the tax rate of .446442 over 100, which is effectively a 1.9% increase in the tax rate,
Is that it? Is that the correct verbiage?
Yes, ma'am.
Do I have a second? I'll second. More discussion? Councilman Munger.
Yeah, I just want to say the reason I voted in support of the other one was because we revisit this every year, and we'll look at it again next year. If we had taken a $7.21 tax cut per house this year, then next year we could have taken that back. So that's why I voted for the other one. I think we need to live within the budget, but I support leaving it where it is now.
Any more discussion?
I have a question. How does what I just said on a motion agree with what this ordinance is, which we're approving tonight, says?
As far as the
Because
notification,
this ordinance,
It doesn't, it just needs specific verbiage. It just needs to be.
understand, and
Yeah. Are you
I'm
asking-
coming on the fact that we're getting ready, this approves this ordinance, correct? We
Are
said
you
vote
asking-
yes,
We
that
have to
approves
vote,
this
yeah.
ordinance,
Yes, sir.
which the language is different.
Are you asking to add that language into the ordinance?
Yes.
You want to make,
We already have an instance where I'm trying to investigate where we vote on one thing and the ordinance says another.
okay, sir.
All right? And all I want to make sure is that I'm voting for the proper ordinance that's going to be signed and made into law.
That's correct.
But I also want to say
Okay,
by the
let-
state.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Sheridan, if you'd like, you can amend your motion and you can say what you said the
Right.
first time.
Got
And
it.
then just
I will-
add the second piece
Mayor, I
in
would like to,
that's
if you
required
don't mind.
by the state of Texas, and then you're
Yeah.
good to go.
All right. To comply, I make a motion that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of .446442 over 100, which is effectively a 1.94% increase in the tax rate. Also, in ordinance, as we approve ordinance number 2021-18, the ordinance fixing and levying municipal ad valorem taxes for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2021 and ending September 30th, 2022, for each fiscal year thereafter until otherwise provided at a rate of 0.446442 per 100. Assessed valuation of all the taxable property within the corporate limits of the town. Thank you.
I'll second. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 3-2. Do we still need a 4-1?
No, let me try it again.
You want to?
I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.4450 of $100 of evaluation, which is effectively a 1.61% increase in the tax rate. And again, the tax rate is not being increased.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I'll say why I'm always in favor of a tax decrease. Since I've been on council since 2013, my evaluation of my house has gone up about 80-something% that I checked from the time that I was voted to council until today. In that same period of time, we've dropped the taxes 15%. So it's my first 4 or 5 years, Greg, on council, we consistently lowered the tax rate, lowered the tax rate, lowered the tax rate. For the last 3 years, I think we've kept it.
No,
No.
just last year.
No, we've kept it the same rate for 2 or 3 years now. We did a little bit of tweaking on homestead or something like that, which you could say lowered it. What are we sitting at right now in reserve fund? What percentage?
We're probably, our reserve fund at this moment is probably between 6.5 and $7 million on a $12 million operating
So
budget.
50%,
50
little over?
to
And what's
50
our
to-
policy?
Our policy is 30, our goal is 35.
And we were recently, AA plus, I think is what we achieved.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, I understand staff always is anxious when there's a budget cut. I get it. I can imagine, you want to keep as much as you can to continue the town. But I guarantee you that I can find 20-something thousand in the budget to cut if I wanted to. I've done it before. And I think staff is capable of handling this. But I know everybody goes to the survey that was done. I think that the survey didn't say keep the taxes at what it is. Most people said that the tax rate is too high. And I understand that they also, you constantly get both hands. One hand is saying that it's too high, one hand is saying that you want to keep service levels the same. I don't think that this is going to drop any service levels. I think that staff is more than capable of finding this in the budget. We have a professional staff, and I just think that anytime you can lower taxes, it's always a good thing. No matter if it's 50 cents or $7 to a resident, it's still a savings. And I don't think we've done that enough in at least my time on council.
What are the ramifications if we keep decreasing these keep decreasing every year, because there is a new cap of, what is it, 3.5%?
Yes, ma'am. So the legislature a year ago passed House Bill 2, which requires anything above a 3.5% increase in your revenues to go to your citizens for a vote, which would more than likely cause a decline in our budget. So long term, I agree with you, Mr. Schaffner. $28,000 is not going to hurt us, right? It's not going to hurt us. Next year's budget, we can make this work. But you have to keep in mind the long term as well. And the long term is, in 10 years, that's a little over $250,000. And that's quite a bit that we could put towards our capital replacement fund. One of the things that is my goal, as I've told you all individually and as a group, is that we need to be able to present you guys a balanced budget where our revenues equal our expenditures, including capital projects, every single year. And right now, the reason that general fund balance is so high is because we use the general fund balance each year to pay for our capital projects. So at the end of the year, we have that rake, is what I call it, or where you're taking the excess of any taxes that were not spent, and it goes into the general fund, and it's used that next year for the capital replacements. And I believe this next year we have about $900,000, is that correct, Mike? In capital replacements for police, fire. We also have some IT expenditures. We're working on parks equipment and the pool and those kind of things that we're trying to get done. So long term, in the short term, you bet we can find $28,000. That's not a problem. I just worry about the long term of continually decreasing the tax rate. Eventually, not today, not tomorrow, maybe not next year, but eventually we're going to have to affect services in order to get that done.
The old adage, penny wise, pound foolish, comes to mind, and I am thinking of the long term. And I agree with Councilman Schaffner. We do have a professional staff, and it is staff's recommendation that this is the rate. Councilman Monger.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that 3.5. If you don't raise taxes over the 3-year period, you can cumulatively add that difference up, right? So over a 3-year period, you can exceed the 3.5 without having to go to a vote.
Yes, sir. Is there a limit on that, Mike? I know we can roll that amount if we need to.
It's called the incremental rate. And in fact, that's why this year you would see the no new taxes rate was at about 4.3 something. The incremental rate was at 4.7 because we had about a penny to penny and a half that we did not use last year, as we kept the tax rate the same, that we could put toward our voter approval rate for this year.
So that gives you room.
Yeah, so there
And
are
it might not be
options, most
politically
definitely.
popular to do that, but that is a possibility to do it.
Of course.
I'll go back to what I said earlier. We live within the budget. Every year we revisit it, we set the tax rate. And I don't think any of our property taxes are going to go down this year. So in all likelihood, next year, if we leave it at the same rate, we'll probably have a little bit of a surplus again. So I just think we can revisit it every year, and if we need to make a change, then we can make a change.
Yes, sir, and I agree. I think you have a professional staff here that whatever you decide tonight, we will get it done. I promise you, whether it's whether we have to make some changes, whether we have to roll some things into next year's budget that were possibly into this year, those things can be done. I have no doubt that this staff can pull that together. We will follow the direction given to us by staff.
Did we have any unexpected expenditures pop
by
up?
council. This year?
Mhm.
Of course, there's always unexpected expenditures that pop up every
What
single
was the
year.
last one? Was it
I'm trying to remember.
healthcare or?
Well, we did have a healthcare increase, so we thought that was going to come in at 0. We were told originally it was going to come in at 0% increase this year. It actually came in a little higher, and we had to cut benefits just a little bit in order to stay within our budgeted amount. Those are some of the things that we have to do, and we know we're going to have to do every single year to make the budget balance.
So we had to cut benefits this year.
That's correct.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Lamont.
Couple of things. Well, as Councilman Schaffner said, the survey was, number one, I want to say complaint, but a concern about the taxes being too high. And the other thing is, if you go back to 2018, I'm not big into 10-year forecasts. If you go back to 2018, who would have thought we were going to get over $700,000 from COVID thing? Who would have thought that we were going to get Amazon? Anybody who purchased something here in our town, that we get the sales tax from Amazon. So to say 10 years out it's going to cost X amount of dollars, I don't necessarily buy that. We'll deal with it, as Carl says, 1 year at a time. If a tragedy hits or something, people will understand. But right now, I just think, just as a show respect to the residents, that we just drop it a little bit.
I think on the survey, it was more in relation to property taxes, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Which we have no.
Well, property tax obviously is made up of multiple areas, right? The county, the school district, and the city itself, yes.
Any more discussion? So, do we still have a motion? Did you make another motion?
No, my motion's still on the floor.
Okay, and then, all right.
What's it?
That was discussion on
Of my motion, right.
Seconded by Schaffner. Okay, all in favor? All opposed?
Mayor, I'll change my, only for the sake of getting this passed. It's not, $7 ain't that big of a deal, I'll vote for it. But at the same
Wanted to
time,
Call for the vote again.
there's certain, like, for example, just before I joined the council, there was a significant amount of money spent on the fire and the police to bring them up to par, just to get them where we're at today, which has been proven excellent these last couple of meetings. That was unexpected. That wasn't part of the original budget. That's the type of thing that I think we need to keep. But I'm not going to argue over $7. I'll vote for it.
So that was after the vote
Was
that
that it?
just happened, so we need to make a new motion and a new
Remake the
second
motion and
and
I'll-
call for the vote again.
I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.4450 per $100 of evaluation, which is effectively a 1.61% increase in the tax rate. And let me say again, the tax and percentage rates are not being increased. State law requires that nomenclature be used, which is confusion, to say the least.
Second, again.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Lamont and a second by Councilman Schaffner. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Reluctantly.
Oh, Jesus.
Any opposed? 4-1, the motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Person council.
Yeah,
I was ready for 1 o'clock in the morning.
November can't come soon enough. All righty. We are on item 10?
number
9?
9.
9.
All right, take appropriate action approving resolution 2021-11, authorizing the annual service and assessment plan for emergency services district. Mr. Irwin.
Yes, ma'am. This is action. This allows us to set the hearing for the next meeting for the ESD tax rate, which will be 0.0412, which is a decrease from last year. This also allows the mailing that's required for a PID. We've worked with DTA, and they'll be waiting for me to send them an email once, if council approves this, and then they'll send the mailing out tomorrow that will go to our citizens that live in the PID.
I'd like to recognize Mayor Pro Tem Lamont. Thank you, Mr. Irwin.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2021-11, setting the date of the public hearing for September 27th, 2021, authorizing the publication of a notice enacting other provisions related thereto for the annual service and assessment plan for the Emergency Services District for the Town of Trophy Club, Public Improvement District Number 1, the Highlands at Trophy Club, and the proposed assessment roll.
Second, and let me just ask a question. So those in that district pay no more and no less than those in the mud district, correct?
Correct. For fire service, yes, sir.
Right, okay, thanks.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Lamont and a second by Councilman Schaffner. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous, motion carries.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Irwin. Item number 10, take appropriate action approving the regular meeting minutes of August 24th, 2021.
We got to make a motion on that?
Yep.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of what date? August 24th, 2021.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Lamont, and a second by Councilman Sheridan, I'm sorry, Councilman Schaffner. Get my S's confused. Any discussion?
Insult?
Yeah.
Sorry. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous. Keep it. Motion carries.
A little late.
Right on.
Thank goodness for the coffee. It'd be much worse up here.
Oh, we could have went to 1 o'clock.
Oh, Lord mercy. Yeah, that might not have been such a good idea. All right, item number 11, future agenda items list. Mr. Carroll.
All right, the last item on your agenda this evening is going over the future agenda items list. You see on the paperwork before you that you've got the 4 agenda items. There's an explanation underneath each one. I'm sure you've each had a time to take a look at the packet and understand where we're at on each of those items. Is there anything else that you guys would like to add to the future agenda, or that you would like more clarification on any of the 4 agenda items that are placed there?
I'd recognize Mayor Pro Tem.
Who is on the Veterans Committee, just out of curiosity?
Mr. Sheridan, Mr. Monger, Jim Perro, I believe are the 3 veterans that are on the committee, and then myself and Tony Jaramillo. Myself,
Tony.
yes.
Sorry about that.
It's not often we hear his last name pronounced correctly.
It took me a long time to figure out how to say it
Yeah, I
correctly.
still mess it up. I'm sorry.
You'd be surprised what I call them.
Surprise.
Does anyone have anything for future agenda
Okay,
items list? Thank you, Mr. Carroll.
thank you very much.
No executive session.
Okay, we're on to public comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to address the council on any matter. The council is not permitted to discuss or take action on any presentations made to the council. Presentations are limited to matters over which the council has authority. Speakers have up to 4 minutes with a time limit determined by the presiding officer. Each speaker must have submitted their request to speak by completing the speaker's form, or you may also email mayorandcouncil@trophyclub.org. Do we have anyone signed up to speak this evening?
No, ma'am.
And I would like to remind everyone that during public comments, unfortunately, we as council are not able to engage or comment on the topic being spoken of by our residents. We can only listen, and if there's a point of order call, we have to do that, but we are not allowed to engage in discussion. It's not that we agree or disagree, or that the information being presented is correct or incorrect. We can't say so. We can't engage. So I don't want anyone to think that we are not engaging in the conversation, because those are just the rules that we have to follow. So I just want to make sure everyone is clear on that. And we do invite our residents to come and speak with us at any time. And we do ask them to follow the proper rules of decorum when doing so. But no one this evening?
Motion to adjourn?
Okay.
Second.
I wasn't finished yet.
Oh.
I'm still talking.
Ah.
I would also like to quickly thank everyone who came out and participated and attended our 9/11 event on Saturday. As every year, it was a very moving and lovely ceremony. So thank you to our first responders and to our nonprofits who were there, and all of our residents and all of our guests that were there. It's very important that we remember it every day. It's nice that we have a yearly remembrance, but we do need to remember that every day. And I just want to thank everyone who did take the time to come out and honor those who were lost on 9/11. And I hope to see everyone at Pet Fest on October 2nd. Good night, everyone. Meeting adjourned, 7:57. And thank you so much for coffee. It was fabulous.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.